Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and squirrels from another world. It's so wonderful to see you on this wonderful Labor Day weekend. I hope that everybody had a good time. And I mean, speaking of having a really good time, why don't I do this?
Can you see it? It's right here in front of me, right now. Watch. No. Good heavens. No, it went through me? It passed right through me. Me? I wasn't in me.
Good evening. How's it going, Caitlin?
It is going so well. I mean, I am just having the time of my life. How are you?
I'm good. Busy day today. So yeah, everybody's hopefully enjoying the wonderful Labor Day weekend. So Outpost, good to see you, man. Good to see you, sir.
Hello.
And of course, Wendy H. And of course, Chloe. I know who Chloe is. Doggone it.
Hi, Chloe.
Oh man, so wonderful. All you five people showing up tonight. Yeah, so mm, tonight, because it's one of those that really shaped me as a teenager in a weird way. Was hearing these guys late at night. And I'll show you what I mean, because this was something that would be on the actual radio, and it wasn't, I think, until the 90s where it really started hitting home. But it wasn't uncommon to be hearing you know these shows late at night. And I'll just give it a little intro for what it is.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Dragging your butt through the day, selling body and soul to a bunch of bland normals? Acting stupid so they'll think you're one of them? Tired of getting all of the guilt, but none of the sex? There is a simple answer, dear friend. A glowing beacon of slack amidst the turmoil and darkness. It's J.R. Bob Dobbs, the living slack master, and his Church of the Subgenius. Bob brings a new destiny for the abnormal. For Bob comes to justify our sins, to unmask the conspiracy, and to get us back the slack they stole away. It's us versus them. Are you gonna fry in hell on earth alongside the pink boys? Or will you pull the wool over your own eyes and accept Bob into your mind? Repent, quit your job, slack off, and praise Bob!
Church of the Subgenius, eternal salvation, or triple your money back.
So that right there was the introduction to Church of the Subgenius. Now, a lot of people might have seen some of that on MTV if they're old enough, because I think this probably would have happened before you even born, Caitlin.
I was going to say, that looks old.
Yeah, that's well, you should be using that. You should be doing that because we think you're awesome. Oh, and yes, Caitlin is streaming this also on her channel, so make sure that you guys over there, give her a nice thumbs up and sub if you haven't subbed. And I did, you know, never mind. I got something better. Here we go. Yeah. All right. So this right here is what a little bit of what the Church of the Subgenius is about. And I pulled this off of Wikipedia. Yeah, you guys can bitch and moan about it, but I'm I'm actually going to play an audio recording from, and it's a good one. You'll like it, I think. So, of course, this church, you can read this yourself on Wikipedia if you look up Subgenius, but the Church of Subgenius ostensibly denies, ostensibly believes defy categorization or simple narrative, often striking outsiders as bizarre and convoluted. The group has an intricate mythology involving gods, aliens, and mutants, which observers usually consider satire of other religions. Its primary deity, generally known as Jehovah One, there's a picture of Jehovah One, is an extraterrestrial who contacted Dobbs in the 1950s. Various accounts state that the encounter occurred while Dobbs was building a television or watching late night television. Jehovah One gave him supernatural knowledge of the past and future in addition to incredible power. Dobbs then posed deep questions to the alien, receiving mysterious answers. Some of their discussions centered on a powerful conspiracy to which the church attributes command of the world. Jehovah One and his spouse, Eris, regarded by the church as relatively evil, are classified as rebel gods. Subgenius leaders noted that Jehovah One is wrathful, a quality expressed by his stark fist of removal. The church teaches that they are part of the elder gods who are committed to human pain, but that Jehovah One is relatively good in comparison. Yog Sothoth, a character from H.P. Lovecraft's, I don't know, Chalutu mythos, as elder god's leader in their 2010 study of the Church of Subgenius, religious scholar Carol Cusack of the University of Sydney, smart person, stated that Lovecraft's work is a model for the Church of the Subgenius's approach to scripture, and that aspects of his fiction were treated as real by some within paganism, just as the church appropriates aspects of popular culture in its spirituality. Let's see, just like Chloe. She's 1,399 years old, so she's of the vampire generation. Now, the Subgenius, which was so great to be a part of, was that it had such a niche following, that niche, I guess is what that's the correct word. Niche. Yeah, well, whatever. But it was
Tomato.
It was not uncommon, that you could be hanging out with your friends and somebody would have mentioned something about the Subgenius. And that, I mean, trying to think, put it into words. The documentary that they did about the Church of the Subgenius pretty much puts it into perspective. And my plan is to do that. Hey, Captain, have fun. Good to see you. My plan is to actually, play the documentary. But I know that YouTube has some issues with the documentary. So it could try to tell me no, and copyright me, because, it's something that, I have no control over, But any questions, Caitlin?
So this was a bit of a movement. It actually gained ground because it sounds silly as all get out.
It's a cult. It's an absolute undeniable cult. And they'll tell you, if you ask any of them that are part of the Church of the Subgenius, they will tell you it's absolutely a cult. Yes. Fantastically cultish name, of course. They're cults. And they don't deny that they're a cult.
But like that video was silly, right? Was that part of the shtick? Or is that part of the shtick that it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's all a shtick, but they will never break character. They'll always be part of the Church of the Subgenius. And they have X Day. You know, it's they get together and you know in hopes that that they get removed from the planet. Just
Okay.
never keeps happening. Um, Part of the if you ever get a chance, the motto for them is, you know, it's all a fucking joke. You know, that's all a fucking joke. It's meant to be. That's the
Okay.
that's the that's the biggest problem. And I'll show you here. All right, share this tab instead because this gives it a good a good brief one here. So bring it probably about there. So this is the kind of stuff that you would hear on the radio. Back back whenever back whenever I was still a teenager, these would come on the radio. And they weren't being played by the Church of the Subgenius. They were coming from everywhere else. Hey, MLS, good to see you. Um, it was it was a it was something that you would hear late night on the radio, and it would come popping up across, and it would be completely random when you would get some of these. It was the um, hour of power, and if you think about all of the religions that were out there on these AM radio stations, you know, because there really wasn't too much on FM at the time because it was such a short wave where you could get better distance on AM. Um, FM was a little more local, although it was like in stereo. There's AM really wasn't in stereo. It was horrible, horrible listening. But you would hear a lot of these late night preachers coming on and you know trying to save your soul. And these guys took it beyond you know saving your soul. It was so much better.
All right. I'm ready to learn more.
Oh, I went too far. Hold on. There we go.
Shizzy, no, never. Too far?
Hold on. Is that too loud? There we go.
I don't hear anything.
Don't hear anything?
No.
Oh, I see why. Because I'm an idiot. There we
Did
go.
you forget to share it?
Yep. Yep. What is that? MLS knows Mile High Club is going about doing stuff at 35,000 feet. Yeah. I'm stupid, but you didn't miss anything. So here we go.
Jim Baker said, "When you help the shepherd, you're helping the sheep. But when you help Bob, you're helping the shepherd and shearing the sheep."
Yes, thank you, Friday Jones. The irreverent Friday Jones. And where are we? Where are we? I know where we are because I've been keeping count. Have you been keeping count, sheeple, children? For this is a very propitious hour of Slack show, for this is Hour of Slack number 666. Ah, yes, the harvest. I never thought we'd make it this far, friends. I thought for sure we'd be ruptured last July. But now, as we enter 1999, which is, after all, 1,666 upside down. No, yeah, that's right. And did you know that 666 times 3 equals, yes, 1998? The Antichrist was born last year inside my Macintosh. But I don't want to get lost in the spirit, my friends. I want to tell you something that blesses my heart. Can't you feel it, children? Can't you feel that these are the last days, the very end times themselves? For are there not every day in our newspapers and internet signs and portents, my friends, signs in the heavens, omens and divine hints from the before life. It's just like the Roman Empire, just before the Roman Empire fell. And the prophecy, let he who hath sub-wisdom know. It is the number of a man with a pipe and a grin, and that number is 999. Yes, for as we know, friends, within subgenius numerology, 999 is Bob's number. For Bob is the anti-Christ, not the Christ. He ain't that well connected, but certainly the sworn, born enemy of that old fiend, old split tongue, the Antichrist of the conspiracy. The
Conspiracy.
embodiment, friends, of evil, which will lead the pinks astray under a false, subgenius, one-world religion that will lead the sheeple into a perpetual, timeless bondage to their TV sets, upon which they shall see him, the one who gives life to the image of the beast. That's me. And the image of the beast is the computer animated 3D Bob, which is what I've been working on in my lab all this time, and Dr. Legume too. We're bringing life to the image of the beast. Bob's not around. Who's to say he didn't mean for us to do this? Anyway, I say this all right out in the open, friends, to ensure disbelief, hiding it right in front of everybody's faces. That's right. Luke Skywalker is going to have to whoop me if he wants to shut down the Antichrist. That would make a good movie. Actually, friends, you know, the millennium is a nice, round, even number for the humans and crackpots to fixate on. Everybody knows that it's really all going to come down on 7599, not 11 No, sir, ma'am. They just think it's a purty number for Jesus to come back to, all full of zeros and stuff. Well, sorry, my friends, but I have one thing to say, and it won't take long. But Jesus done been here, took a good crap and gone. And you missed it. Actually, friends, the Lord will be back at work in our offices soon. But meanwhile, praise Bob, I have yanked back the dusty sheets from the old 4-track TIAC reel-to-reel and jolted it back to shambling life so that I might share with you listeners for the first time in years the old media barrage number 8, the 666 special, direct from the master tape, which may actually sound kind of glitchy on this beat up old machine. Plus, Lordy mercy, dear friends, the Fire Sign Theater has a new album out, and it's great. It's perfect. And it's about this final day. And you youngins will soon realize why the Fire Sign Theater was probably the biggest influence on my poor teenage brain in the early 1970s and all through the 70s, besides Zap Comics and the Three Stooges. And their new album, friends, is called Give Me Immortality or Give Me Death. And this music in the background was by Ennio Morricone from the Italian movie L'Anticristo. Yes, the music of the Antichrist. Listen, I can hear him. I can hear the devil fiddling with his big farmer boot gonna come stomping down. Bob's gonna come down with his big pipe, and that farmer's gonna come down with his big boot. We're gonna stomp out the devil. We're gonna root him out. Root out the hate.
That sounds like something you hear down here in
Yes.
church.
Exactly.
Stomp out the devil. You gotta root him out.
I am the Antichrist. I mean, I do have red hair. Says T-Rex. No, this was the fun of the Church of Slack, because, you know, the Church of the Subgenius, the Hour of Slack, is because you could listen to this and it was no different than what we do currently listening to YouTube, somebody streaming on YouTube. And they said it appropriately in the documentary, was that they were trolls before there was even such thing as trolls. what they would do is they would get on a CB radio, and they would start talking like this, and they would say, "We are coming from outer space. We are here to take you back. We are communicating to you," and just messing with people on CB radios. And so they that it's all about having, being trolls and having fun, and just to give a little bit of enjoyment to, an otherwise, stodgy world.
Okay.
Andy
I'm starting to
Kaufman.
understand.
Andy Kaufman is the original troll. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I guess you could say that. But do you go to this level of trollness?
Next topic is that the king eyesore of the Subgenius building is found due for demolition tomorrow. Despite results in rush hour delays, so what do you think you can? Subgenius building, wasn't that something to do with the Reverend Bob Dobson and your hospital subgenius?
Pardon my language, but let the sons of God and man bear witness, for I speak only the truth, and never in my days have I spoken other than, for my every utterance is a lie, including this very one you hear.
I am the last remaining Homo erectus. I am a goddamn man of the future.
I'm 23 feet tall and have 13 rows of teeth.
My physical type cannot be classified by science.
Love that.
Without wires or string.
I am a fission reactor. I fought plutonium. Power plants are fueled by the sweat from my brow. When they plug me in, the lights go out in Hong Kong.
I bend my genes and whittle at my DNA with the sheer force of my mighty will.
I am a jumping, humping junkie that jumped a man from Mars. I'm some triceratops on a bacteriological.
I am enlightened. I achieve nirvana and
I steer my own goddamn evolution. Yes, I'm the purple flower of the Hill County.
I take drugs! Yes, I'm the Rex Lotto.
I cannot be trapped in Vader. I wear nothing uniform. I wear no goddamn uniform.
I swam the Bermuda Triangle and it didn't get wet.
Bob Dobbs bobblehead.
Thicker, harder, and meaner than the Alaskan pipeline.
I think backwards. I do it for fun. I drive the devil on the seven tables. I am too intense to die.
Make time and wait up for me. And my infernal breath, where's the tree of life?
Where's the roach?
Wait, didn't it start as a Godzilla? It's a robot now?
Yeah. They take everything, every bit of conspiracy that you can possibly have, they incorporate it into this. It's all part of the Church of the Subgenius. You can't escape it. It's all there.
Okay.
And this is why so many people would be so confused about what was going on, because it is the ultimate troll the ultimate troll of everything.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of with T-Rex. I don't think I could watch this on anything and be okay. I know. I mean, I could just see a bunch of like 20-something-year-old guys in the basement watching MTV late at night and seeing something like this and
Oh no,
just losing their
there were plenty of women. Here, I'll show you. So look, Church of Subgenius literature incorporates many aspects of conspiracy theories, teaching that there is a grand conspiracy at the root of all lesser ones. It says that there are many UFOs, most of which are used by the conspiracy leaders to monitor humans, though a few contain extraterrestrials. In the church's view, the conspiracy uses a facade of empowering messages but manipulates people so that they become indoctrinated into its service. The church calls these individuals pinks and states that they are blissfully unaware of the organization's power and control. Subgenius leaders teach that most cultural and religious mores are the conspiracy's propaganda. They maintain that their followers, but not the pinks, are capable of developing an imagination. The church teaches that Dobbs has empowered its members to see through these illusions. Owing to their descent from Yedis, the church followers have a capacity for deep understanding that the pinks lack. So whenever they created this group, there's much like see here, church leaders have issued instructions for their followers. Shun regular employment and stop working. This encapsulates the church's view that to repent is to slack off, as opposed to working for a living. Subgenius leaders say it's permissible for members to collect public assistance in lieu of maintaining employment. Purchase products sold by the church, which its leaders say Dobbs founded to gain wealth. Unlike most religious groups, the church proudly admits it's for profit. Cusack sees the instruction to buy as an ironic parody of greed is good mentality of the 80s. And Kirby notes that although the group emphasizes the consumption of popular cultural artifacts, this consumption is simultaneously de-emphasized by the processes of remix. Rebel against law and order. Specifically, the church condemns security cameras and encourages computer hacking. Rid the world of everyone who did not descend from Yedis. Subgenius leaders teach that Dobbs hopes to rid the earth of 90% of humanity, making the earth clear. Group praises drug use and abortion as effective methods of culling unneeded individuals. Exploit fear, especially that of people who are part of the conspiracy. Church leaders teach conspiracy members to fear subgenius devotees. And see, this goes back to, my John Todd tapes, because a lot of what the subgenius was about was what Todd was either the cause or the effect of. So, I mean, it's, they if you ever seen all those little tracks, and I've pulled those up before, all those little religious tracks made by Chick Publications, where they're saying the end is nigh, the world is coming to an end, you have to repent. And so some of their ideas of this came from those church tracts. This was that counter to all of that BS that these people will put out. With these predictions, it's a response to the people like Jim Jones, that could get 900 people to self-delete. Matter of fact, one of their first live shows that they did, they were handing out Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the devivals or devevils instead of having revivals. This is Reverend Ivan Stang of the Church of the Subgenius at the Cyclone of Slack. X Day, which in literature was July 5th, 1998. It was a significant date known as X Day. So, I mean, it's been, this is just stuff that I grew up with. And, even as a teenager, there was a lot of other people that were in there. Church leaders have said that Dobbs met L. Ron Hubbard, you know, but this is what they're so much fun is, yeah. Here, let me show you. Notable members or associates. David Byrne. You know who David Byrne is, right?
No.
Talking Heads.
Who?
Talking Heads.
Like the guy who created Talking Heads?
Yeah. He was the member of Talking Heads. Mark Mothersbaugh. You know who that is, right? Devo.
No.
You know who Devo is, right? Whip it real good.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going to
What-
have to give me more than just names. I am not going to know anybody based on names.
Oh, okay. I don't know who Gerald Cassell is. Let's see. Yeah, he was from Devo also. Negative Land, experimental music band. Alex Cox was a film director. Did Repo Man, Sid and Nancy. Robert Crumb, cartoonist. You know who Robert Crumb is. He used to draw like really raunchy, dirty comic books. Yeah, Robert Crumb is awesome. Nostalgia for odd. Nick Offerman, Parks and
Okay,
Rec.
I know who Nick Offerman is.
Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman.
Okay.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Carrie Wendell Thornley, Omar Khayyam Ravenhurst, or simply Lord Omar from Principa. I don't know who that is. Patrick Valkenburg, benevolent dictator for life. Wavy Gravy. Yeah, he was pretty big back in the countercultural, at least hippie era. Robert Etten Woods, Wilson, futurist, psychologist, and self-described agnostic mystic. Frank Zappa.
I know who that is.
Okay. Paul Maverick. He was, I believe one of the artists that worked with him. Richard Linklater, film director, did Dazed and Confused and Slacker. Marshall Ledbetter, just iconoclast, unconventional protester. Mike Kesey, Beat Generation, Penn Jillette. You know who Penn Jillette is, right?
It doesn't sound familiar to me.
Penn and Teller.
Okay.
That's Penn from Penn and Teller, Penn Jillette.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Ben.
No, Penn. Sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't being very, very clear. No, these guys have been doing all this kind of stuff for quite some time. And as you can see, this is the junior Bob Dobbs. Now, Bob Dobbs was just a piece of clip art that was, I think, taken from the Yellow Pages. And they actually, started putting a lot of their tracks together, just having a blast. It's no different than, like I said, what people do on YouTube, just to entertain themselves and entertain other people. It's always been interesting to me to have, this whole subculture, and I think which really changed a lot of my attitudes towards the organized religion, that so many people were saying, oh, well, you're going to burn and go to hell. That they were founded in Texas. So there was a lot of, it's very, very religious in Texas, I mean, it's God and country, and especially in that order. It's, and not saying people are bad there. It's just they're a little different, a little stuck in their ways on some things.
Sounds like Alabama.
Yes, and see whenever you've got that kind of I guess oppression that comes with a lot of organized religions where you have to do this, you have to, it's like this purity test. And I think that's what you see also in a lot of what do you call it, um political spheres. They've got this purity test. Well, you have to follow your leader to every end of the earth. Well, these guys were the counter to all of that. They were the counter to, just you had to, you were part of the degenerates.
So, and I could be totally wrong because I might just be dumb, but like when people talk about counterculture, is this representative of like are they a
Yes.
representative of counterculture?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So, it just, a lot of people say, oh, they just want to see the world burn. It's like, no, they're having fun.
Mhm.
They're making fun of themselves. They're making fun of everybody. You know, they're not taking any of it seriously. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a really beautiful thing to see. Robert wanted to see my golden. What? So weird. Hey, Lady Autumn Sky. Absolutely. So glad you could stop by. Got, what was that? You got a church on every corner. Yes, in Texas. She knows she's in Texas. Iris is in Texas. So there is a church on every corner. And it it's amazing to me that a lot of people had not heard of the Church of the Subgenius.
I'm going to be honest with you, I hadn't before you. So,
Yeah.
but I'm
And
like you said, most of this was probably done before I was even born.
well, and they still exist. I mean, they Church of the
Actively?
Subgenius. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very active. I mean, they have. Yeah, go ahead.
It feels to me like a comedy troupe of sorts.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'm
Yes.
not off base. They're purposely being silly. They live and abide by the silliness in life.
Yes.
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna be
Yes.
honest with you. A lot of people say like, "Oh, I totally would have been in the Manson cult." Not me, but like people say that about themselves. This is probably the closest you'll get me into a cult.
Right. Right. And if you're going to join a cult, this is the best cult to join. You know?
I still don't trust the Kool-Aid.
That's the thing. Everything is tongue in cheek, and they're not about wanting anybody to hurt other people or hurt each other. It's coming from that. It's coming from that time and era. These guys were born in the 50s. And they're coming from a different aspect of the very homogenized, leave it to beaver, and breaking away from that. They're at the very beginning of, these guys are a product of this lady right here.
Can you see it? It's right here in front of me, right now. Watch. No. Good heavens. You know what went through me? It passed right through me.
Could you feel it?
Me? There isn't any me.
Wait, Elephant asked a question if I know what a rotary phone is. Yes, I know what a rotary phone is. Good grief.
I mean, they still have those in Alabama, just saying.
I'm not that young. Plus, when I was little,
Oh, you're
we
breaking up.
had neighbors
Hey, hello?
who were in
Hey,
their 80s, so they had
are you
rotary
okay?
phones in their house.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
I
can you
lost.
hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. You were breaking up there for a second. And ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we can we can present it. He's got no devices connected at the moment, but as soon as he's got them added in, we will bring a very special guest in here.
Payphones were gross.
What?
Elefant said payphones were gross.
Payphones are gross.
Oh.
There's nothing wrong with having gross payphones. Talking about when my dog swam in Bella Lugosi's old pool. Okay. That's wonderful. I guess. Bella Lugosi. Oh, well, what better introduction than do this? Hold on. Damn it. Let me do this really quick. Present. Just a second. Share. Here we go.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Dragging your butt through the day, selling body and soul to a bunch of bland normals? Acting stupid so they'll think you're one of them? Tired of getting all of the guilt, but none of the sex? There is a simple answer, dear friend. A glowing beacon of slack, turmoil and darkness. It's J.R. Bob Dobbs, the living slack master, and his church of...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Reverend. Just a second. Let me bring it up. Slowly out.
Oh my
The
God,
Reverend
I'm actually on
Ivan
screen.
Stang.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh.
It is.
This is a little bit weird for me because.
Oh, you're trying to do it on your phone?
I have a new Mac computer that doesn't have a built-in camera on the screen, but my iPhone is hooked into it, and for some reason the well, no, wait, yeah, that's the iPhone.
So what you want to do is there's a little button that says settings on it. So you click on the settings and you can change the camera, and you want to have the.
Yeah, I know all about settings.
Yeah, it's in StreamYard. There we might have the wrong camera. Oh, good Lord. It's fine. Absolutely fine. We're figuring out the technology ourselves. Okay. Ms. Griff, okay. Weird. God bless the Reverend. Yes, Ms. McGriff. God bless the Reverend. Yeah, he's getting it straightened out right now, and as soon as he gets it taken care of, we will bring it right back in. So we'll go back to solo layout here for you wonderful, fine people. There we go. And he can really fill us in on quite a bit more of what the Church of Slack is all about. And I am so honored to have the Reverend Ivan Stang on here.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I want to know all of the answers.
He has all of the answers. you're just gonna have to wait. Yes, I reached out to Reverend Ivan Stang earlier today because I was wanting to use a little bit of the John or the Bob Dobbs um stuff, and I didn't want to get copyright stricken, so I brought his I sent him out a message. He was actually very responsive. He's a very, very, very good person. So I've watched his documentary, and I would show it here. My only problem is if I show it here. Here we go. Can you hear us now? Oh, it's all a cord twisted up like 30 feet long. Yeah, absolutely. McGriff going wrong. Raise your hand if you like hot dogs. I'm raising my hand right now. See.
I had a hot dog today for Labor Day.
Yes. I had brisket. I smoked a big, huge brisket. It was delicious. I did not eat the whole thing, as somebody asked me, thinking that I would be sick from eating all that brisket. That was a 7.5 pound brisket, done Texas style. The only way to do it. Oh man. Everyone had limbo under to pass you by. Yes. Miss McGriff. Some magic. Oh my God. Big question is hot dog a sandwich? Of course it's a sandwich. What do you think they call them? They call them hot dog hoagies. They call them hot dog sandwiches.
Who calls them hot dog sandwiches?
They've always been called hot dog sandwiches.
When?
What, you don't call them hot dog sandwiches?
No, I call them hot dogs.
Well, they're hot dogs, but they're not hot dogs until, I mean, they're hot dogs generally. But whenever you put them between two pieces of bread, they become a sandwich. So then they would have
Is
to be.
it 2 pieces of bread or is it 1 piece of bread?
It's 2 pieces of bread. It's
Is
all
it?
one piece anyway.
Because
you-
like a hamburger is 2 pieces
you
of
have-
bread. That's a difference in bun. But
No,
a
all
hot
you have
dog opens like this and it's connected. So I don't know if
Well,
it's 2 pieces.
Well, those are only the split tops open like that. But then you slice them down the middle, and then you can put it in there like you're supposed to, like a real sandwich. I know that Reverend Ivan Stang is having problems with his connection. If he needs to, all you have to do is exit, click on the link. It'll bring you right back in. If you're having problems. I want to hear what the wonderful Reverend has to say. Subway makes sandwiches with a split piece of bread. See, Al makes a very good point.
It's true.
They call them
But Jersey
sandwiches.
Mike's doesn't. And who is the superior sandwich here?
Oh, and hot dogs are great, but only if roasted. I hate them boiled. Who boils a hot dog? I mean, if you're gonna like grill something out, you grill out hot dogs, you grill your bologna, you grill your if you had grilled bologna.
I have never eaten bologna in my life.
Then the first thing you should try is smoked bologna. That is the very first thing that you should try. Smoked bologna. You get a whole roll of bologna. You slice it so it doesn't explode on you, and then you smoke it on a smoker for about 3 hours. Yeah, it'll be the best thing that you'll be amazed. You'll be blown away by it. Ah, there we go. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you now.
Oh shit! No, I can't hear you. I got to be careful with my feedback. Headphones.
There we go.
I just
think I
switched
got you.
to my phone. Basically, I was trying to do it on my laptop, and it wasn't working.
Well, that's fine. We got you here.
Yeah. I've been actually hearing all of everything you guys said, and for a long time, I thought that you could hear me, but I was just hallucinating that. And
yes,
I was at the same time I was trying to boot up an older laptop that I have that's got a camera on it. That's a laptop with a camera. I just bought a new computer and never put a camera on it, and
hey.
long story. I've got like 100 different Macintoshes and iPhones and things, and I actually do know how to work this stuff most of the time. But I just it's a little late at night, and I got a bit confused.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I am so happy to actually speak with you and have you on because you were part of my teenage growing up years.
You poor son of a bitch. What
I know.
sad thing that is to hear. I'm so sorry.
I know.
But you're not the only one. Believe me, you're not the only one. There's apparently a few thousand others. But
yes.
Did we ever get your $30?
God no.
Well,
it was 49 for me.
Dude, you fucked up because it's $50 now.
I know.
And it's actually worth it.
It is.
Just the little package alone is not bad. I've got one. I'm sitting at my workstation. There's
absolutely
a big Subgenius membership package.
See,
it's got stickers and bumper stickers and pins and other magazines and hours of reading and plus you get to get on the private Subgenius channels, not
I've seen that
Facebook ones full of stupid bobbies posting used memes and Dobbs has pasted onto every latest news photo. In the private ones, it's a little bit more thoughtful.
Yes,
and also it's actually a bunch of friends. You know, it's people who know each other in person and have been to X days and all that. You know, we didn't expect it to be a social club. We really didn't. We thought it was just going to be a mind fuck that people would find in laundromats for a couple of years and that would be it. We did not expect book contracts or years of horrible club shows.
Oh, she's right next to you. Hey, Princess.
I'm having echo problems here.
Yeah, that's fine.
If I would go away, then you won't have the echo.
No, it's not you. My wife is. Oh, there. Yeah, you can see her. There's Princess.
Yeah, yeah. And we can actually hear over on your microphone if she wants to get a little closer. There's nothing wrong with being close to your husband.
I have a. I'm gonna try a thing that it'll put the audio into my hearing aids directly.
Gotcha. Yeah, sound good.
I wonder why it's having that feedback problem.
We're not hearing any feedback here now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
You're
God,
good.
that's a huge improvement. I'm
Excellent.
partially deaf, and I've got these hearing aids, and headphones don't really work well with hearing aids. But I have
No,
this weird little Bluetooth thing here
I like
that
it.
as long as it's hooked around my neck and it's plugged into the audio source, it Bluetooths the noise right in directly into my hearing aids.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so that's actually really it's. I don't use it that much because it's kind of a hassle, and I don't do. Actually, I do a whole lot of podcast interviews lately because everybody knows I'm really old and I'm going to die soon, so they better do it quick. And, I mean, seriously, I've been doing like at least one a month, and usually it's on Skype or something like that. And
Oh,
we don't
nice.
have the or Zoom, and we don't have the feedback problem. But if I understand correctly, Zoom sold out. Zoom started sharing data with anybody in the conspiracy,
Yes.
which I thought was a strange move for a company like that. But
Yeah, you
anyway,
got
this is working fine. And the Church of the Subgenius was founded by J.R. Bob Dobbs in 1953 when he underwent his immaculation while trying to repair a amateur TV set standing in a puddle of water. And he had a vision of Jehovah One, the alien space god from a corporate sin galaxy, who informed him that there had always been a conspiracy of normals against all the weirdos on the planet Earth. And this alien monster, Jehovah One, had been masquerading as a god to manipulate the normals into persecution of the weirdos. But that on July 5th, 1998, the Exus from Planet X, Bob's best buddies that he's been dealing with somehow, he says, will suddenly show up and rupture the subgeniuses up to pleasure saucers where they can live forever and do anything they want forever or die if they get bored, and uh, and punish all the pinks and people they hated back on Earth. Perfect formula for a religion, wouldn't you say?
it is a
It's
perfect
got
formula for a religion.
it's got a hero, it's got an enemy, the conspiracy, which is everybody you don't like,
Exactly.
anyone rude to you on the street, the bus being too hot. That's all the conspiracy. It's
It
got a
is.
goal, slack. The subgeniuses are promised slack, and it has a prophecy. In the year of 1998, we'll all be saved. Now,
Yes. And
obviously,
and
the conspiracy,
you were
they've
oiled
been,
and you were oiled and feathered over that one,
but
or
yeah,
lubed and feathered.
well, actually, if you want to know the truth, it wasn't oil, it was honey. And
Oh.
I paid for the pink feathers. And that all was staged. The part I didn't
Yes.
expect was being thrown in the pond by the guy who had to clean the showers, who said, "I don't want to clean the showers with all these feathers. Throw them in the pond." And but that wasn't bad. I'd had 20 years to think of comeback lines, and I used every one of them that morning. As exhausted and tired as I was, I used every one of my comeback lines. And against that, there were 400 people laughing at me standing naked. That's most people's worst nightmare, right? What's
Yes.
being naked in front of 400 laughing idiots? Well, to me, that's just a memory of a nice and actually profitable party.
Exactly.
They never were as big after 98. And the
Oh.
last one was really uh, just a few old friends getting together. But I really don't care where all that stuff goes.
No,
There's
it's
younger. There's a younger guy, Reverend Onan Canabite, who's basically he's going to take over from me as I slowly
awesome.
fade out. And Philo Drummond, the other co-founder of the church, is still very involved. And there's young people joining all the time. We're still in business. Strangely enough, I mean, think how many businesses aren't in business anymore. Sears is gone, but the Church of the Subgenius is
Genius.
still here.
So
And
what was it like meeting Mark Mothersbaugh and have him just hanging out?
well, when we first printed that little pamphlet in early 1980, uh, we were uh, we really were just going to drop lift it. We were just going to leave it around in places for people to find. But my wife hated the fact that I spent $60 printing it, and she said, "You better send it to publishers." And I sent it to publishers, and they all turned it down. And I also sent it to the underground comic book publishers back in the 80s, Zap Comics, Rip Off Press. They probably don't mean much to you, but at the time, they were the greatest art being done. The modern day version might be Fantagraphics. Robert Crumb, Robert Anton. I got my friends sent me addresses of famous people. And I couldn't believe it, but these famous people loved the Subgenius stuff. And it kind of picked up, and we got a publishing deal. But originally, we really were just, thankful if anybody even understood that it was a put on.
Right.
It there were so many people who just took it flat ass seriously because people are that fucking stupid. And there's that many stupid pamphlets laying around in laundromats. But
Yes.
the Devo published their fan club address on their second album, 1980, I guess, and I sent a pamphlet to them, and I got a postcard back from Mark Mothersbaugh. I couldn't believe it. He loved it.
Yes.
Somebody told me to send one to Robert Crumb, the great underground cartoonist. He hates everything, but he loved it, and he reprinted our stuff. Devo copied one of our illustrations and gave us credit and put our address on the bottom of that poster. Those two things helped put us on the map. Remember Heavy Metal Magazine, the comic book thing?
Oh God, yes.
For the late editor Lou Stathis liked our stuff, and he gave us a nice glowing review. And it's funny how those tiny little things can give you such a step up that we ended up getting a book contract. Now, ever since then, I've well, I'm not doing it much of anything now, but for years, I went out of my way to try to give every weirdo a little step up. Our publications always had a list of other mutants.
Yes.
The new Frank Zappas of the world, the new Robert Crumbs, the new Firesign Theaters. Again, these names may mean nothing to you, but
No, they do.
Yeah, they, every and in response, they encouraged us. I got encouraging letters from Ken Kesey, okay, Merry Pranksters, Timothy Leary was a friend of ours, Robert Anton Wilson. Uh, it was amazing because I was only like 30 years old, and all my heroes were patting me on the back and going, "Oh, well, join the crowd. We are all just a bunch of nose picking, regular, ordinary po-buckers, but we are hardworking artists."
Exactly.
That was the thing that was in common. We were hardworking artists, and
So whenever you were making these tapes, how often were you doing those? And
well, in the early 80s, this mysterious person who still goes by the name of Puzzling Evidence started sending us tapes, cassette tapes that were kind of like the Firesign Theater, but taken a little bit further into the real world. And Philo, my buddy, and I were so envious of him that we copied him and started doing that ourselves. Well, next thing, when you edited his tapes and our tapes together, it sounded like there was a lot of people involved. Then we sent those tapes to some really fucked up weirdos in Little Rock, Arkansas, and they started making tapes. And when I started selling these little 90-minute cassettes in the 80s that were actually pretty impressive. Partly because I'm a professional editor, film editor, video everything editor. I already was before I started doing the Subgenius. And I would cut all the stuff up, and it sounded a little extra slick that way. And people thought it was an army. There was really only a dozen fucked up guys with shitty jobs doing this stuff just to stay sane, listening to Devo records, going, wow, there's some weirdo out there that actually can make a buck.
That's what YouTube is.
We never actually did. I'm kind of at the top of the heap of the whole Subgenius thing, and I never really made a lot of money out of it. But I was able to quit my day job in the 90s and, live frugally and bide my time. And everything's fine now. We're still not rich, but the Subgenius thing is still going. I still mail out those goddamn membership packs, 2 or 3 a day. And, our books are still in print. And we're reprinting new books with print on demand. There's a lot of talented people out there. And I've been printing novels by weirdo subgeniuses that are pretty funny. They sell up to 200 copies a piece. That's self-publishing, that's print on demand. You can find them on Amazon too, Kindle, whatnot. But we have more. We're going to try to reprint our old magazines. I put together these 100-page zines called the Start Fist of Removal all through the 90s. They were 2 years apart, but they were big. And we're going to try to reprint those and just make them available. They're much better as books than PDFs. I mean, we'll have them as PDFs, but it's just not the same. We're really committed to physical things on paper. That's how we started. Our best stuff was written and illustrated. The great thing about this whole thing is all of the original contributors are still buddies and still alive. I can think of one guy that went off the deep end, and we don't talk about him. But it's mostly if you look at the original book, The Subgenius, and the subsequent 3 main books, the main people that were contributors, we're all still buddies hanging out on Facebook or whatnot. And there's 20,000 Subgenius Facebook pages. Most of them suck. They're not really monitored or anything. That's always been the problem. How do you monitor something like this?
Yes.
And so we've just slowly but surely we've changed. As first it was mail art, then it was Usenet. Remember Usenet?
Yes, I do remember Usenet.
Those were the days. only smart people knew what the internet was then.
Yes.
Usenet was so great. You could steal everything. Any software, any movie, any album. It was all free and available. I know you can still do that now, but it was somehow more Wild West then. I knew it was going to
Yes.
turn into television, and it did.
Yes.
And that's okay. That we knew, things change.
Well, and I would say that the art of just the concept, the idea, the fun that it appeared that you guys were having with it, I think is what really drew a lot of people like me into it, because I would hear your stuff on AM radio like late at night. It would just come on the radio, and it would be the Church of the Subgenius, Hour of
That's the
Slack.
best. That's the best way. Out of the blue, unexpected. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because really, it was fun. It was play. That's the key to the whole thing. Is we were playing. We were having a lot of fun playing with. We loved conspiracy theories and crazy, stupid Bigfoot shit and stupid
Art Bell,
UFO
Coast to
shit.
Coast.
Stupid political shit and everything stupid. We love that stuff. And we just take it and make it 1,000 times more stupid. And the weird thing is, it all came true.
It did.
We thought we were kidding, but now it's real. I feel like I have a lot in common with Mike Judge, who did Idiocracy and King of the Hill, Beavis Butthead.
Butthead, yes.
But mainly Idiocracy. It's like, that's a documentary now.
It is.
Our crazy ass, goofy predictions that we made up when we were really high, I never, ever would have imagined that would come to pass. And yet, here we are.
Yeah,
it's been quite a trip. It really has. It's been fun. There were times when I wanted to kill myself. It was destroying my family in the 90s. I was overworked. I was supporting family, working a job or two, and trying to do Subgenius. And I was trying to serve two masters, and it didn't work.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I think a lot of people on YouTube notice that.
Luckily,
also.
I oddly enough, I hooked up with a bunch of what you might call neo-pagans in Ohio. They were doing this music and just weirdness festival called Starwood Festival. It's still going on, and it was actually really big then. And they hired me to come in and make fun of them. I thought I was being ambushed, because I'd been making fun of woo-woo new age shit and all that stuff for years. That was like part of my. Wait a minute, what happened here?
The screen went dark.
Yeah, he just turned off the camera. It happens.
Hold on. What app was I on?
Hmm.
There we go. Okay.
There we are. We're back.
I have a video game that I play in the background, and an ad came up and an alarm came on.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The game is Trailer Park Boys Greasy Money. I'm a real big fan of Trailer Park Boys.
Trailer Park
I somehow I identify with those guys for some reason.
I don't know why. So are you back in Texas?
Oh yeah. We've been in we were in Dallas for years and years, and that was just fucking horrible. But that's where I grew up. And then I got remarried and was in Cleveland with the Starwood people, the the like you could call them neo pagans, but that's not really accurate because most of them are just weirdos that really know how to put on a good party and
Yes.
big multimedia shows and stuff. And there was a radio station in Cleveland, WCSB, that loved us. We were huge on that station, and that went on for 20 years. But about 6 years ago, all my family has lived on this big goat ranch in Texas. I only ever visited here a lot, but now I live in my late parents' house on a really big wilderness area in the middle of the woods.
A lot of our folks feel the same way. that's how we've got a guy that raises goats, has his own goat farm, and he's up
Well,
in
I'm
Tennessee.
I'm not a farmer. I'm still just a city boy doing subgenius mail order and
But
occasional.
he likes that outdoor that big area. He likes
Well,
having that big
I do
open
too.
space.
I do too. Unfortunately, for the last 2 summers, this area has been under a heat dome that's a
Yes.
climate change nightmare. Just absolutely horrifying. We haven't had rain in weeks.
Still,
It. This is farmland, and it's really a terrible tragedy for us, just like everybody else on the planet that's getting hit
Yep.
hard by climate change. Uh, I happen to not be a farmer. I just live in the middle of this farm, and that part is great. But you don't want to go outside. It's 120 degrees out there. Well, 102.
Exactly.
It's 102. It's
Especially
really, really nasty.
especially in Texas. I mean,
Well,
I worked pipeline construction back in the 80s. Whenever I lived in New Mexico, and that's where I would hear most of the subgenius stuff coming across the airwaves. Being in New Mexico, working the Permian Basin.
well, I'll be damned. I'm amazed because that must have been somebody we didn't know about rebroadcasting the stuff.
I
We
am positive
were
it
only
was.
on like 5 broadcast stations at the most at any given time. But I
Yeah, it
got
was.
the impression that people would copy shit and they just tape things and then replay the tapes, which is fine. We didn't ever think we'd make any money, and our prediction came true mostly. But it is nice to know that it got around so much, and I do know that it really helped a lot of people. I actually get fan letters, every month or so from people saying, "I've never written to you guys, and I still haven't I still haven't sent in my money. But man, when I was a teenager, I was about to kill myself. I saw your stuff, and somehow it made me feel like I wasn't the only crazy person in the whole world." Um, so I know what that's like. For me, Fire Sign Theater, Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart, Devo, those were the things that kept me from just despair.
Yes.
There were weirdos doing fun stuff, and the underground comic books too. And I later found out they were all struggling just same way as me. No,
Yeah.
no, none of us ever got rich or anything, but we were cool. And that means a lot, when you're a insecure young person. It means a lot when somebody tells you you're cool after all. So
Absolutely.
that kind of helped, and but the main thing, like I say, it was playful. It was fun. It was like Subgenius was born at the same year as Burning Man and the Starwood Festival, and probably a few other things that I don't even know about. In 1980, and it was all fun. It was just fun. Burning Man got so big, my old Burning Man buddies don't go there anymore because it's just not fun. It's too big, and of course they had a tragedy this time.
Yeah,
Yeah, Burning Man didn't look like fun this year.
No, I was there twice in 2000 and 2001, and in 2000 it rained. Not real big, but it rained enough that you learned that silt on the playa turns into glue. It's not mud, it's glue. And your feet become clown shoes, and your tires pack so much mud up that you can't drive anymore. So it's pretty serious when that happens out there. But apparently, it's the crisis is mostly over. So
Well,
I have an old buddy who's there right now, Dr. Hal Robbins. He runs the Burning Man fashion show every year. He's been doing it for decades. He's an old fucker too, man. He's older than me, but he's still doing it, and I guess he's out there begging for food or cannibalizing. I read the right wingers are saying that at Burning Man they're starving and they're cannibalizing each other because after all they sacrifice a man at the end of the festival, so obviously they're pagans. So obviously they can't be real Americans because they're not Christians. So they deserve it, and God sent this flood. I actually have spent my whole life monitoring extremists.
Yes.
And boy, this is a wonderful time to be a fan of crazy people. Oh, I've never seen crazy get so mainstream. We put together that book, High Weirdness by Mail, 40 years ago, and that's so tame. In those days, that was really fringe, really weird, off the track, off the grid stuff. And now, thanks to the internet, why, half the country believes it.
Yes.
Go figure, man.
Well, and that was part of the reason for me doing some of this particular stream, and it was covering a lot of the cults and the stuff that was going on inside these cults that, and everyone thinks, oh, well, cults were sex cults. It's like, well, no, those were different. Like there were legitimately people, like last week I was talking about, the Reverend Jim Jones. Like how crazy can it get that you have this guy that believes that he can heal you psychically, and all these people follow him to a totally different country just to drink a bunch of Kool-Aid?
Well, it's not that unusual anymore. That was big news then. We got a lot of mileage off of Jonestown, but nowadays half the kids don't even know they don't know what that meant. They might remember Heaven's Gate,
Yeah, maybe. Well, and I think that whenever I was seeing, during Columbine, it was so tragic because you had the news people coming out, no different than they do now, with saying, oh, it's video games that are causing these kids to do things. It's a church of the subgenius that believes that all the normies should be removed from the planet. It's like, God, you guys still don't get the fucking joke.
Well, yeah, we got dragged into the Columbine thing. But that was because of a smart alecky subgenius deliberately publicizing one of our shows, but dragging the Columbine thing in.
Happens.
That one backfired.
Yeah.
He's still my friend, though. anyway, yeah. The fact that real cults, man, I mean, they're real, and they really are that weird. And sometimes I feel like the shittiest cult leader. I'm like the biggest loser of cult leaders. Do you see any minions? There's not a single minion. I do I didn't do all the artwork in the books and everything. Of course, I edited it all together. But I'm the one who does the mail order. I'm like the guy that the old man that sells ant farms and sea monkeys. Everybody has one sooner or later. And
Oh yes.
uh, uh, I had an exciting. There was an exciting stretch of years where we were doing live shows, preaching with a band or two, and often sideshow marvels. Like the
Yes.
circus type people do freak show shit. And we traveled around. We did shows in Europe a few times, not a lot, but some. Not big. These would be in nightclubs. We'd have an audience of maybe 50 or so, but we'd get to go to Amsterdam. We'd get to go to Germany. We'd get to go to England and not have to pay too much of our own money. So that was all really fun. And I traveled around the country doing all kinds of stupid 2-bit shows in bars, recording every one, putting them on our Slack. And it was actually really hard work and not much pay, but I guess it it beat the alternative.
Yeah, but I bet it was still a lot of damn fun. I mean, I toured
But on and
as a
off, yeah,
musician.
yeah. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but I still have nightmares about the problems. Where did we park the car? Who has the car keys? How'd this videotape get erased? Where's that other microphone?
Oh my gosh.
Where are
Yes.
we sleeping tonight?
Did anybody get us a hotel room?
Yeah, it was all real low tech. It was very, very, very low tech, and well, I guess you could say it was for real. You- we we definitely weren't. If only we could have sold out. If only it would have been so great to have a contract with like a record company or a promo company or something, and an agent. I had an
Yeah.
agent for a little while, but she died young, and I had a great editor, but he got leukemia, and we just had some bad luck. But on the other hand, I don't think the Church of the Subgenius was cut out to be any kind of a big showbiz thing. We weren't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't work as anything but what it is.
Right.
It has to be kind of obscure, something you stumble upon. You might be reading some highfalutin guy going, "Oh, and the Church of the Subgenius was pretty good." Frank Zappa said nice things about us, but
Right.
it really. No, maybe I'm just. We
Yeah.
had. I think if we had ever gotten big, that would have fucked everything. It would
I
have
think so
lasted
too.
for. It would have lasted for a year. I'd make enough money to live for 2 years, but it wouldn't have been that would have wrecked it. How
Yes.
could it be popular? The whole point of it is it's for people who aren't popular. It's for people who are the fucked up weirdos in high school. It's the people who have to pretend on the job all the time. That as my wife put it, I had to pretend to like those people for 27 years.
Yes.
I did that too. I was an industrial film editor and commercial video editor and stuff. I worked in the conspiracy, worked my ass off. It was horrible, but that's what I had a family to support, right?
Yeah, right.
Um, and I think that struggle. I feel like now that I'm an old man, I feel like I was a pretty good writer because I think somehow that struggle comes through in the subgenius stuff like it does in Devo. You know,
Yes.
Devo was for the spuds who are driving around in their unair conditioned car that barely works, doing their shitty job. And the only thing that keeps them going is that Devo song and their shitty 8-track player. And I had the great luck of being able to tell Jerry Casale that recently, and at a time when he really needed to hear it. But that's worth it, you know. I know that's what we did. We weren't as big as Firesign Theater or Zappa or Devo, but we filled the same function of
Yes.
keeping some nice people from committing suicide.
And
Honestly, I think
that
that's
was
what that was the thing that the Church of the Subgenius was good for.
yes, to realize that it's okay to be odd, to not be so stressed about being odd because everyone's odd. You just
Well,
find the odd people that you like hanging out with.
I hear that a lot now, and now that I'm fucking old, and they're not sending me any fucking money, but it would, but it actually does. It means a lot, you know. It's like, well, I didn't totally waste all my time. I did
No.
waste a lot of time, believe you me. It was fun too. But you know, we it's been a funny old cult. I'm kind of sorry that my buddy Philo Drummond wasn't on this. You should hit him up.
Absolutely.
He's really, really funny old guy. He's actually in almost the same position I am. He also lives on a farm in the middle of nowhere. Thank fucking God. It's like we got our reward. You know, we worked our asses off. We never got rich, but we got to be rich in shit you can't spend.
Right.
I have this beautiful land that I live on. I can't sell it, but it's blistering hot, but it's a fucking nature preserve. It's better than anything I would have dreamed of. It's because my parents were smart, and I was just lucky. But Philo also is now an actual farmer in Kentucky, where it
Man.
rains. Lucky
Yeah.
son of a bitch. And some of the other old time, G. Gordon is doing great. He's 80 something years old, lives in Porto, Portugal. He's doing real good. Puzzling Evidence is still doing his show. Hal Robbins is still doing his shows. Paul Mavrides is still doing his art. And, you know, we're all alive and upright and not crying. So that's kind of a miracle. A lot of our buddies boarded the saucers
Yes.
prematurely. Like Don Joyce of Negative Land, just as a for instance. There's a whole lot of subgeniuses that died a lot younger than me, of cancer and shit, you know. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's just whether you have a magic cult or not, you still got life to deal with. Parents
Exactly.
that get old and die, people who get dementia, your dog gets sick or bitten by a rattlesnake. You know,
Yes.
there's always some kind of shit going on. But through all of that, Bob never stops smiling and his pipe never goes out.
Never
He doesn't even
goes
have
out.
to refill it.
So
So
is there anything I can promote for you besides your shopping page?
well, subgenius.com has we have a little cafe press shop with a zillion crappy t-shirts. The designs are great.
Yes.
It's cafe press though. But my own catalog has lots of quality material with DVDs that we've done over the years.
Yes.
I wish I could sell Sandy Boone's documentary about us, J.R. Bob Dobbs and the Church of the Subgenius. That's a great feature-length documentary that's on Tubi for free and YouTube for $5 and various things. It's really, really good. It's really slick. And I've started making comic books and videos using AI.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, it's been kind of a shot in the arm. I was really getting depressed and tired. Everything was getting to be the same. And then the AI shit came along. It's like, this is more fucked up than anything I ever imagined. Plus, all the prudes hate it.
Yes.
So obviously it's going to be a lot of fun. And it has been. I just finished a video to the old song In the Year 2525. I mean, that song is old even to me, and yet it's timeless. And it was perfect for I spent about 2 days and whipped out an AI video. It's not too bad. But I made an AI comic book, and we're working on reprints of our old stuff now on print on demand kind of things, because that doesn't cost anything.
Right.
You don't get many customers, but it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to have a closet full of unsold books or T-shirts. So we just keep peddling our stuff. I'll never sell as many T-shirts as Donald Trump will of his mug shot, but on the other hand, I won't go down in history as a criminal.
That's true. But you
So
can also get a maybe Donald Trump holding a Dobbs pipe for him.
But, well, believe me, there's been enough Photoshop jobs of that kind of thing.
Oh. Well, Princess Wee, is there anything that you would like to say? All you have to do is just unmute. Or we can...
Your screen name is Stank.
Princess Wee, are you asleep?
Huh?
They're talking.
No, she's not.
No, I'm not asleep.
I was asking.
We've actually had a really busy day.
I was telling you your screen name is
Stang.
Stang. The A became an S in the middle of your name. Look at your screen.
It's okay.
She's telling me I misspelled my screen name.
It's okay.
God damn, I'm 70 years old. I can't do everything perfect.
Let's hope not. Well, thank you very much for
Princess Wee, as quiet as she is, happens to be co-director of the Starwood Festival. She didn't start the thing. In fact, she was just an active participant in the old days. But over the years in Cleveland, she ended up with more and more responsibility. And the guy who founded it died and left her the directorship, her and another person. So she's basically in charge of the world famous, wonderful Starwood Festival.
Now, but it's okay.
Here's some of the guests that I've gotten to party with at Starwood. Vermin Supreme. That would be the most recent one. Robert Anton Wilson, Paul Krasner, Wavy Gravy. These are all pretty old hippie names. Did I say, huh?
Timothy Leary.
Timothy Leary. Yeah.
That's gotta be wild.
Larry's a gas. All these guys are really funny. Krasner's funny as hell. Leary was not any kind of a weirded out space cadet. I never got to chat with uh, uh, some of those guys, but it was Starwood was just it was such a wonderful thing for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to meet all my heroes and various underground people, folks that conspiracy considered criminals. And in every case, they were really nice, friendly, real, not affected, not bullshit. You know, they were good on stage. They all of them. Well, actually, Robert Anton Wilson was terrible on stage, but his words were smart.
Well,
But
yes.
most of those old guys were actually really good. They could stand up at a mic and make friends with the audience pretty quick, and kind of, you know, be regular people. And that was always a real important thing to me. Every now and then, somebody comes up to me like I'm an important old guy, and they go, "I can't believe I'm meeting you, Mr. Stang." It's like, well, actually, it's Reverend Stang or Mr. Smith. My real name is Doug Smith. You know, you don't use your real name in a weird cult in Dallas, Texas, in 1980.
No.
But the important thing was it's always seemed like all my heroes that I got to meet, the first thing they did was try to make me feel at ease. Like, hey, you know, don't worry. You're not going to embarrass yourself. I'm an idiot too. Ray Harryhausen was the very first of my superstar heroes I met. I wanted to be a special effects master like the great Ray Harryhausen. That's another name younger people may not remember, but he was the Stanley Kubrick of my teenage years, you might say. And I wanted to be him. And I got to meet him, and he was really, really nice. And I got to meet the Firesign Theater guy. He was so nice and friendly. And so my buddy Philo Drummond went to go see George Clinton and Funkadelic in Kentucky the other night, and somebody mentioned, "Hey, the Subgenius guy is here," and George Clinton invited him backstage, and they sat around and partied with George Clinton because he used our artwork on his albums at one point. So again, this all may be ancient history to somebody, but to somebody else, it's really important history.
It is,
and kind of fun, and they should be envious of me because I'm bragging my ass off. I've just ran off a whole bunch of famous names of people I know. So, and it was all because of the Subgenius shit. You know, we weren't being paid. We just did it for fun. People could tell it was for fun, and it made them have fun. And
it really showed through all the years of how much fun people were actually having. And the first time that I heard it, I was just like, "What in the hell is this?" Because I just,
that's the correct reaction.
it was like, this is the strangest thing. I had the same look because I played some of the I think it was episode 666 from your radio show. It was an old tape. I played that one for her, and she's just looking at this like, what in the hell is this? All I can picture is just a bunch of 20-year-old guys sitting around being dumbasses. And I was like,
well, yeah, it was that. but there was more to it if you have the background to understand it. You know, we were sitting around being dumbasses, but we were being dumbasses within a cultural circle of references that actually was pretty important at that time.
Right.
If especially if you smoked a whole lot of pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no way that I would ever like say, oh, that had nothing to do with it. No, that actually had everything to do with it. We smoked a lot of pot, and during different periods of time, some of us did quite a bit of acid. We never were like into. We couldn't afford the good drugs like coke and ecstasy
Heroin
and all that, all that Hollywood shit.
Yeah, you're just like, no, we can't afford this. We'll just stick with the weed. Every so often, get a little bit of acid.
I had a great acid connection for a while. But that you can only do that for so long, really.
Yes.
After a while, it's time to. It's probably best to move on. So I'm having this Imperial Texan Double Red IPA.
IPA. Oh, gotcha.
Brewed in Fort Worth, just an hour away. But you gotta watch your step with that shit.
Yes.
On the other hand, God damn it, here's to Bob and Slack. Fuck the conspiracy.
Fuck the conspiracy. Cheers to that.
Kill them all, let Bob sort them out.
Exactly. So much fun. Well, with that, any parting words for the audience? Because I'm going to close this thing down, and you hang out because I'll talk to you in the back room for a little bit.
As far as I can tell, the audience is you, me, my wife, and that pretty girl there.
That's Caitlin comments, and she is very lovely. Yeah, if you hang out for a little bit,
I'm an old man, so I'm
that's
cool
fine
about that sort of thing.
Well, because her and I,
that intelligent looking young lady there who laughs.
I'm okay with the pretty.
Huh?
I'm okay with being pretty.
Well, we got two beautiful girls here and a couple of lucky nerds.
Definitely.
Nailed it.
With that, everybody, you have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the flip side of all of this craziness. And if you guys hang out, Princess and Reverend Stang, hang out for a little bit after there'll be an ending, and just hang out after that. And
okay. Yeah.
I'll chat with you in the back. I just have to close this thing out if I can figure out where it is. Yeah, there it is.
Hi.